everybody, it's Thoth here from the Lost Library, and today we're going to be doing another chapter summary like we always do. Today's chapter was actually called Chapter 4 of College Success, Reading. Reading is a very important subject. I can't really stress it enough, especially in today's society. Whether it be your job, free activities, building something, you got to be able to read something. Either that be a training manual, a textbook for your college class, like such. It is very important. I don't really know how to stress it enough. I know I'm saying it enough. Hopefully you heed my words with it. But anyways, let's get down to business. Today's the first section today is called muscle reading and how it works. Muscle reading is actually a very useful technique, especially whenever you're doing certain jobs or businesses. It lets you get a cool-headed mind when reading, especially whenever it's something you've never seen before. It comes in phases, and each phase has certain steps, and we're going to be going over each one of those phases right now, and then breaking it down into the steps. The first phase is phase 1, before you read. Step 1, preview. Previewing sets the stage for incoming information. By doing so, it helps you be able to focus on what you're fixing to say, what you're fixing to do, what you're fixing to eat. Well, I don't know about eat. I'm constantly snacking while I'm eating, so... Well, no, snacking while I'm eating, that doesn't make any sense, now does it? Well, anyways, hopefully you get the idea. I'm not going to be eating during this, so don't worry. It'd be a little strange, too, hearing crunching sounds in the middle of the voice. Also, while I'm speaking about voicing, I apologize that this seems to be a little crackling today. I don't know what's the deal with my microphone. But anyways, back to where I was at. Yeah, back to what I was saying. Yeah, incoming information. Whenever you're doing incoming information on something you never picked up before, it's important that you try to, whenever you look at the title of the book, see if it's actually something you want to read, something you want to do, because that has a very high importance on what you're fixing to do, because you won't be able to understand what you're reading if you don't really want to do it at all. You know, like in school, whenever you're sitting behind a desk and the teacher's just droning on and on and on, where you're just like, oh, let this be over already. And they tell you to open the book and you go to something else. That's what this pretty much is about. The next part is reading all section headings and subheadings. Yeah, and this is a very important piece, people. I don't really know what to tell you about this, but whenever you open a book, and there's no ifs about this, every book that you read, whether it be from newspapers and periodicals to fiction and encyclopedias and reference book, everything has a heading or subheading. Most of the time, it's usually in chapters, and then each chapter then can be broken down to the subheadings, the main little individual things, especially in reference books whenever you're dealing with college classes. Excuse me. And then keep an eye out for summary statements. By doing that, whenever you're reading especially long articles, if you see something that's like quoted or something, and you see the quotation marks and it's in there, go down to there. It might give you a better idea of understanding of whenever you're skimming through playing make-believe reading something. The next thing is seek out familiar concepts, facts, or ideas. And that's back to the whole quotations thing. If you recognize a quotation by somebody, like let's say Benjamin Franklin. Well, Benjamin Franklin came up with a lot of good quotes when dealing with electricity. If you're doing like something in electronics and you see that, well, you can kind of go down there and you might get lucky. I can't tell you that for sure or not. Another thing is if you're like a math major and you're studying this paper on some famous guy of some kind of essay he wrote covering this algorithm. You go down there, you see that, and you just skim through it. Just see if it's something that you recognize. Look for a fax, the teacher, or a lecturer, or a business command, congressman. If you see something you recognize, you go straight to that, really. Go straight to it, look through it, and be like, oh, hey, I recognize this. I can't do anything about it, though. Shoots. Next step is, no, not the next step, excuse me. The next point is, look for ideas that spark your imagination. You want to inspect drawings, diagrams, charts, pictures, anything that can be like, whenever you close your eyes and you're looking at the subject, it'd be like, okay, I'm currently looking at a book. What did I just read? Oh, look at that. Charts, how to manage my time management, speaking clearly to help me understand a better idea of what I'm doing. The next thing is keep your preview short. Whenever you're doing a preview, if you're previewing over something you've never seen before, just go over. You shouldn't spend no more than 5 minutes on it. 5 minutes is like the absolute maximum for something short. Now, if you're just doing chapters at a time, 5 minutes is too long. Just go, look at the pages, look how many pages there are, skim through it, see if you can get the main idea what they're talking about, and then be done. Next step is step 2, outline. Whenever you outline something, it's important that you actually understand what you're going to be outlining. And that's where the previewing comes in. Everything you use in the previewing is what you're going to be using whenever you do your outline. And the next step, step 3, question. Now this is the last step inside the phase 1 of previewing, and I hope everything I've said so far makes sense. But step 3, question. You want to use useful techniques to turn chapter headings into questions. Like right now I'm looking inside the College Success book for chapter 1. And I see up there, the first section is muscle reading, which we were talking about right now. I could be thinking, okay, what is muscle reading? How can I apply that to my life? How can that help me understand what I'm fixing to be talking about, what I'm fixing to read, what I'm fixing to do? Will that help me in my job in the future? I don't know. Let me look through further in there. And then I find subheadings. And the first subheading is before you read. Well, before you read. Okay, so perhaps this topic is going to be talking about what I'm going to be reading. Or what I should do before I read. Such things like that. The next thing is, if there are no, actually, and most important thing is, I was kind of not really lying earlier, but not all books that I've read have had table of contents. Most of them do. 99.9 something percent of the time, all the books I've read, they've had table of contents. Now, on the rare chance they don't have it, and whenever you're doing this, like in this section of this book, it's important that you have an idea of what you're doing. Now, if you don't have any headings, if the chapter is really long, you want to go in there and look for key sentences, things that jump out at you, where if you miss it, you can be like, okay, someone take a hammer and hit me over the head until I'm done. And then the last part is demand your money's worth. I know for a fact on this book right here, I spent $113.87. That's tax included, people. I'm not paying more than that for anything in my life. But anyways, I want to demand my money's worth out of this book, so I'm going to utilize every resource I can inside this book. Step 4. Oh boy. Looks like I was wrong. There are more than... No, wait a minute. Nope. I missed something. We're on phase 2 now. We're entering phase 2. And phase 2 is called While You Read. While you read, you need to be able to focus, which is step 4. Step 4 means that you have to be able to focus. You want to be conscious of where you are and what you're doing. And if you feel yourself wandering, follow these little mini steps to get yourself focused again. You want to make sure you're in a focused position. Like right now, I need to be able to sit up and keep my spine straight, which I'm doing right now because I'm kind of dragging a little bit. And I want to avoid reading in bed. Now, I'm not saying that reading in bed is a bad thing, and nor is the book. The book actually says that you can read in bed as long as it's for fun. But if it's like work or schoolwork and you're studying, getting ready for that major midterm, which is like this Thursday that you haven't opened the book for, and you need to really focus, you actually got to make sure you actually focus on it. The next part is no marathons. You want to be able to schedule breaks and set reasonable goals for what you're doing. Now, if, say, you've got 30-something chapters of a book you've never seen before to read by 2 days from now, because your classes are Tuesday and Thursday or Monday and Wednesday like most people who go to school have to do. You want to make sure that you have reasonable goals. Figure out, read a chapter, see how long it takes, and if it's within a reasonable time and you feel you can read another, go ahead, read through the next chapter. Or, better yet, take a break. Take no more than 5-10 minutes, get yourself a snack, drink something, go to the bathroom if you need to, take care of any business you need to do, and then within 5 minutes, if you're able to do all that, go and take care of the next chapter. Later in this video, we're going to be talking about ways to manage your time properly when you're dealing with certain issues. The next thing you want to do is be able to visualize the material. Earlier I talked about being able to visualize your material and question what you're going to be doing and using pictures and diagrams in the phase 1 of before you read. And this is where it comes in handy. You want to be able to visualize what you're reading. You want to be able to take something and form a clear mental picture of what you're going to be seeing. One example of this is like in the nursery rhyme, hey diddle diddle. Well, okay, I see a cat playing with a fiddle, playing the fiddle. Okay, I can see a little bobcat, Garfield almost, standing on 2 hind legs and playing a nice violin. And then I can see a dog laughing at to see such a sight. And then the cow, a big old cow, probably a really good steak with barbecue and stuff, jumping over a moon. The moon's a nice big full moon I see in my head, and the dish is running away with the fork. Boy, science has gotten really effective to be able to make dishes and forks run away with each other. I wonder if they went to hop into the dishwasher. I wonder if they can do my dishes for me. But anyways, another thing to do if you're having trouble with something, you want to be able to read it out loud. Read aloud. Make it where you can just go and talk in front of people and just be like, hey, this is what I read. Here, listen to what I have to say. Kind of thing. And by doing that, it helps you get a clear understanding of what you're talking about. The next thing that would be helpful is step 5 of flagging answers. Flagging answers, there's not really much. The only way to do that is to deface your book. Tear up your book. Add question marks, asterisks, exclamation points. I don't care what you do, except for don't rip out pages. That's kind of overboard. But me personally, I won't ever deface my book. I believe books are a good way to preserve what you know, and it helps you get a clear understanding of what you're doing. Another thing that can be done is go to phase 3. And phase 3 is what you do after you read. After you read, you want to be able to recite what you read. That doesn't mean right away. Don't go back over your notes or anything and completely recite everything you just did. Take a 24-hour break at most. And by doing that 24-hour break, you go straight into step 7, which is review. After 24 hours of rest and relaxation from your class or whatever you were doing, go straight into your review. If you have some time, just go, open the book, open your notes, preferably your notes, because your notes are the best way to be able to review. Not always. It helps you give a quick refresher, and you never want to spend no more than an hour or 2 to refresh it. I was always taught, and the book even says this, you spend an hour reviewing for every hour you were in the class. No, wait a minute. It was every 2 hours to review as every hour you were in class. And I believe this college success class is about 3 hours of review. Not a 3-hour review, 3-hour class. And the class, 3 hours, that would make it about 6 hours. Now, you don't have to do that 6 hours, straight 6 hours, because I know most people have work. You probably have dinner to make, children to look after, great papers to grade, even if you're a teacher and you're watching this. And then go into step 8, which is reviewing again. Just go and review. Just do a quick little relapse and to just relax, sit down, enjoy yourself, and just skim over your stuff. Look for stuff you don't clearly understand and things like that. And if you have trouble remembering the way how you do muscle reading, to do that, remember these strategies. Memorize 3 short sentences, and I'm going to tell you these 3 short strategies right now, even though it is on the screen in front of you. You want to be able to pry out questions, focus and flag answers, recite, review, and review again. And that concludes muscle reading. Take a short break and go straight into our next session. Thank you. Alright guys, we're back, and the next part is when reading is tough. When reading is tough, there's certain things you can do. In grade school, teachers taught us to just go and take a little break, go over little charts to help you understand words and stuff. But here, in this section of this chapter, it gives you a more in-depth version of what you're supposed to do. First part is, in order, look for essential words. Whenever you're looking for essential words, look for stuff that just makes sense to help you get a clear idea. Take out any adjectives that you see. Take out any adverbs. Take out any articles like a, the, and. And then look for the main subject of it and then the main predicate of it, and so you can get a clear idea. Hold a mini review. Get together with some friends. Call your buddy up from Shanghai if you need to, or call up your buddy from New York and say, like, hey, can you help me do a little mini review of my stuff? And you go and talk to him about what you learned. That's all you have to do. And then if you're still having trouble, read it out loud. Go to your mirror. Go to your person. Go to your neighbor. Go to your roommate if you need to. And be like, hey, can you help me understand this? I want to read this out loud to you so I can get a better idea. And if there's nobody around, just talk to yourself. People might think you're crazy, though, but that's okay. Most people are. And the next section is talk to somebody. Talk to somebody. The best person to talk to would be the actual teacher themselves. That's what they're getting paid for. That's what they're made to do. That's what they were educated to be able to do, is be able to help you understand your problems when you're in a class or whatever you're doing. That doesn't even... let me just clarify this. It doesn't have to. You can talk to anybody if you want to. You can go talk to your dog, your cat, your fish, your lizard, the tree outside. I don't care what you do. Just talk to somebody. See if they can help you understand what you're doing. The next thing you can do is, I don't really support this idea really, but you can just go and stand up, get some exercise, maybe blood to your brain. That's what the book's saying is one of the better things to do that helps you out. Just go, stand up, do some jumping jacks, read through what you're doing, walk around a little bit and walk what you're doing. Walk what you're doing. Oh boy, that shows how well I'm paying attention, huh? But anyways, just go, stand up. Be able to just go and be, oh, okay. Walk around, read. Make sure you look up every once in a while so you don't make sure you run into any doors, door hinges, walls, because I'll tell you from personal experience, those hurt. Oh, and make sure you don't walk into any really clear glass. The ravens on the telephone pole will start laughing at you, just like that glass cleaning commercial that we had a few years ago on TV. The next thing is skip around. If you're not understanding the material and you're having trouble with it, just skim through the chapter. Just flip through the pages, see if there's something you like, and if there's not, we'll go to the next step of finding a tutor. Tutors, though they do cost a little bit, a good tutor, if they know what they're doing, shouldn't charge you no more than $10 an hour, and that's the best price. And I do that from personal experience. I've done tutoring before, and if it's material I know, I only charge the person $10 an hour. If a tutor's charging you more, that means A, they don't have a clue what they're doing, and so B, they have to be able to charge you more so they can go get the resources to actually know the material yourself. The next step is use another text. If you go to the library, go to the library, and if you're having trouble understanding something about literature, go and find a book by a similar author or something similar to it, and check it out, see if it'll help you out. I don't recommend doing that because it can help you stray your thoughts from the two different ideas and concepts of what you're talking about. And note when you get stuck. That's the most important thing you do. If you get to a page and you're having trouble understanding what you're reading, just go make a little indentation in the page, fold the corner over, put a bookmark in, and go back to the phases before of muscle reading and just deface the book. Deface where you were having trouble at it. Like, just circle where you were having trouble at, do whatever. And if you're still having trouble, just stop reading. Just stop reading, close the book, throw it in the corner, and just go outside and go do something. Go to something else. Go do work or something. I don't care what you do. Alright, we'll take another quick break, and hopefully let everything sink in from what you've learned. Alright, on the screen in front of you, I'm sure you see a nice roadblock sign. And I swear these things are the most annoying things in the world, especially when you're driving your car, you're 20 minutes late for work, and you're stuck at the red light, and then you go into the red light and see there's a roadblock sign that says detour. Man, you probably want to get out of your car and start swearing and screaming and cussing out the guy next to you maybe. I don't know what you're going to do. But most of the time, when I'm on my bicycle, I just go around it, which is the most simple thing to do. But you can't really do that in reading. Reading, you've got to be able to take the roadblocks that are put in front of you and find ways to work around it. First thing is, whenever you're getting past the roadblocks and you're having trouble with your schedule, just go do these steps. calculate what you're going to be doing. Find the total number of pages in the book. Go all the way to the back of the book. Find the number of pages where the text actually stops. You divide that by the number of pages you want to read per hour. Me personally, I would limit that to each chapter. So each chapter could have like a certain number of pages. Most authors try to keep that the same all the way through. And then whenever you read the pages per hour, you get your answer once you divide all that out, and you get your total reading hours needed. That's how much time you need to read total. And you do that for your week, and you take the total hours reading needed. You divide that by the weeks in the term. I don't know how many weeks are in this term, and I'll tell you the truth, and I'm the one taking the class. And you do that, and you get your hours per week you need to schedule. And that could be any time during the week you do it. You could do it in the middle of the night, like at your peak hours. I believe that was one thing we talked about last week. And another thing is when you're dealing with interruptions. I think that's a section of the book. I can't remember, tell you the truth, because I don't have it in front of me. Dealing with interruptions is probably the most annoying thing God created for people, is interruptions. Whenever you got something to study and you know you've got to study it, use these steps to help take care of your interruptions, to minimize them the best you can. You want to attend to people first. If you walk in the door, you're dead tired, and you know you got stuff to do, and you got your family, wife, kids, husband, and kids, whatever it is, and mom and dad, say hi to them. Ask them how their day was. See if they need help with anything, any chores you may need to do, dinner to cook, homework to be taken care of. Go and take care of that immediately. Your studying can wait. And then plan for interruptions. If you have interruptions and you know you're going to be interrupted every 5 minutes, go and study something that will help you. Just go to study something. Take out note cards if you need to. Make little note cards, write them down, do vocabulary words on the note cards. So whenever you get interrupted or something, you could just take the note cards out, flip through them while you're doing whatever you're doing, or just go and do whatever needs to be doing to help you plan for interruptions. Also, another really useful thing, I do it myself all the time. I set my clocks like 20 minutes fast so I can do this step. It's called using pockets of time. Using pockets of time is dead useful. Whenever you do that, if you go to a place and you know you have an appointment, go in front of the person. No, don't go in front of a person. Don't do that at all. Just go to wherever your appointment is. If you're going to work or something, show up to work 15 minutes early and leave 15 minutes later. You'll have 15 minutes of pure, quiet study time. You can do that whatever you need to do to take care of whatever you need done. It's a perfect chance for review on whatever subject you're covering. And when you can't read everything, read something. That's where the whole skimming thing in there comes in. Skimming is dead useful as well as the pockets of time, though it's not recommended. The book does caution you, and I quote from the book, it says, caution. Oh, wait, excuse me. Yep, and I lost it. Well, anyways, it cautions you whenever you're reading something and you're skimming through it. Oh, it's right here in front of me. Silly me. It was on the page. I was on the page the whole time. It says, and I quote, "If you always read this way," they're talking about skimming, "your education will be compromised. Supplement this strategy with others from this chapter so you can get the most important reading done." And it's saying is, if you have trouble doing that, if you have trouble finding the time to do it, just find time. You got to be able to find time. Skimming does help you study and stuff. It can help you remember like something important you forgot during a test maybe, but it leaves blanks in your long-term memory and your short-term memory, which is another thing, which is important. Reading faster. It is possible, people. I can tell you it is possible. It says, one way to read faster is to read faster. This idea might sound like double talk, but it's serious. To do so, by reading faster, you have to make a conscious effort to comprehend what you're reading. That means you actually want to be able to read what's in front of you. You go and open your book and be like, oh, hey, look at that. I want to actually study this so I can get a better grade, a better paycheck, be able to get my degree, whatever it takes. Word power and expanding your vocabulary. Divide words into parts. And this is back to like kindergarten when the teacher was telling you how to read, showing you how to read. If you have a especially long word, break it down into syllables. The syllables can help you do it. Do the clapping thing if you need to. Whatever it takes to get it done. You want to be able to do that. And then the next part is infer the meaning of words. To infer the meaning of words, you just go pull out a dictionary if you need to. Look at the definition of the word if you don't understand it. Look at examples and any list or anything in there that helps you break it down. It is a little hard to get your mind around sometimes of examples because examples aren't really the best thing in the world, nor a list. But you can also look at comparisons and contrast. Like if something's contradicting something else and you understand this other part than you did the before, then yeah, you want to kind of go that way. And you want to kind of compare those things with the contrast sometimes. And the last section of this, unfortunately, is mastering English. English is a pain in the neck. Really. And I'm a native English speaker. The complexity of English makes it a challenge for people who grew up with another language. I know many people from foreign countries, and a lot of them have told me personally that they've had trouble understanding how English is because the words and the vowels and the consonants, they're always changing. Our sentences have to be more grammatically structured. But in Spanish, you can say like, no hablas en inglés. It's saying, literally, no speak English. But in English, to say that you don't speak another language, you have to say, I do not speak Spanish, or I do not understand what you're saying. Something along those lines. It's just a bigger mouthful than what you really need. Another thing is, for native speakers, is the best thing for us to do is learn by speaking and listening. In a lot of cases, that means you got to practice what you're reading. I don't care what you do. You always have to practice what you're saying. Like this right here in front of me, I practiced for the last 30 minutes just trying to get it right. And even then, I'm probably going to have to scrap it and redo it just to get it right to meet my perfection levels of OCD on doing these videos. Another thing to do if you've got like a business meeting and you're talking to important people to get that job promotion you always wanted, and you write out this perfect speech and you're having trouble with it, go in front of the mirror. If you have one, everyone should have a mirror in their house somewhere. Go into the bathroom. Your bathroom should have a mirror. Most guys use it to shave in front of. And go and talk to the mirror. Talk to yourself in the mirror and be like, hello, how are you doing today? My points today are this, this, and this. And by doing these things, I plan on helping you get a better understanding why I should be elected for this position. Or another step is record your voice. By recording your voice, it gives you an idea of what you sound like. I sound like a complete idiot whenever I'm recording my voice. I can see how well sometimes I can speak, and sometimes I see what points I need to talk on. Like all these blanks, and earlier whenever I was just trying to find the page because I wasn't prepared. Yeah, that was just me not paying attention. But anyways, hopefully you get the idea. I would like to thank all the people who helped support this video. I'd like to thank my partner for making the handouts that are in front of you if you're in the class. Also the teacher for giving me the opportunity to be able to do it this way. And I hope everyone has a good job. And I'll tune in for the next week for another chapter review. I don't know what I'm doing yet, but I guarantee you it will be fun. Thank you and have a good day.